Well, my friends enjoyed their final night of high school with underage drinking and senior night after parties. I was walking home fighting off raccoons and singing Sweet Caroline at the top of my lungs. While I felt that I was able to make the best choices in each little instance throughout the night, the first initial poor decision really nixed me off course and set the whole tone for what was about to come. And the Robert Frost poem, The Road Not Taken, well, maybe the road not taken isn't taken for a reason. Maybe it's best to take the safest road, the most open road, just because, folks have done that before, rather than going off on your own and being a little rogue. So, senior night was our final night of uh, was our final supervised event as graduates of the 2017 class. And it was located in the Officers Club over in Park Presidio. So it was pretty isolated from the rest of, anything, right? There was one main road that kind of took you there and one main road that took you out, but it was pretty isolated within the park itself. And so I don't drive, and this was back before I had a credit card. So I couldn't use anything like Lyft or anything like that, or I didn't have and because I got a ride there as well, I didn't bring my Clipper card just because I was expecting, same deal, go in, go out with a friend. Um, but my friends ultimately would take home their dates rather than me, and I don't blame them. And in this situation, I recognized that too. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna be the third wheel. Y'all do you. Y'all have fun. I'm not gonna be that guy. And so, while one of my friends did offer to call me a lift or something like, or yeah, a lift, uh, I didn't want to take it. I didn't want to be that, like, I didn't want to be someone, especially on the last night, to be like, yeah, I owe you $20. Thanks for that. Stuff like that. Them having to like check and like pay for me and so on. So I didn't want to come off as one of those burdens. And so I called my dad, and he didn't pick up. I know he was a early sleeper, so I just assumed, all right, he's asleep. Don't want to bother him. I would come to later to know that he actually did stay up late that night, and he did see it, but he thought it was just like the all good, thumbs up kind of call. And so next two decisions were either I'd walk home, which seemed crazy, or I was going to stay in the park throughout the rest of the night. And so I opted for that one. I went down to the Starbucks, kind of overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge, and I just waited out there patiently and just kind of just wanted to see what the sunrise would look like. And as I'm sitting there, kind of just waiting for time to pass, see some raccoons just like sitting there and watching me across the path. I'm like, all right, it's gonna be one of those nights, right? I would eventually move though because out of again embarrassment and didn't want to seem too awkward, the Starbucks delivery man had shown up, and I had figured, you know what, that's probably my cue. This is probably too awkward, and so I decided to kind of book it. Now, how I was going to get home was a real issue. Again, I didn't have my Clipper card, so I couldn't take Muni. And, being the good little urbanist I am, I didn't want to hop on it either. I didn't, even now and even then, Muni is struggling to maintain and open with their fares. And so I thought, you know what? Muni probably, this isn't for me, right? Muni wouldn't want to take the kid with no way home back. Nah, that would be too much on them. And so did that, I didn't do that. And so that was either walking through Park Presidio or that meant going on the streets because I didn't want to go on some like night expedition through trees, through Lord knows what else is out there. I opted to stay on the streets. And so I would start walking and had so many thoughts on my head. Do I stay like hidden just in case someone wants to jump me? Or do I kind of just look presentable and look straight so I don't look sketchy? right? But if I get don't look sketchy, or yeah, if I don't look sketchy, then I run that risk of possibly getting jumped by whoever sees me and sees that I'm obviously not dressed up for the occasion of fighting back or anything like that. And so I just decided to play it well, take good pauses, right? Try to use the trees to my leverage, making sure if the car's going, I'm moving at the same, right? Stuff like that. Looking back though, probably would have been best if someone had called the cops on me, just because I probably could have gotten pity from one of them, and they would have told me to take a car ride from them home. So, so that was pretty much my entire trip south at the moment. Just making sure that I was all right, just playing it smart, keeping your head on a swivel, and ultimately though, I would pose some questions coming up. And one of them was my apparel. So because I was wearing a leather jacket, I was dressed for, a night out rather than a walk home. I knew that I wasn't suited for this. If you've been out that late in San Francisco, it's either, you freeze or you go home. And I was trying to go home, but freezing in the meantime. And so that was constantly crossing my mind. And then I hit Golden Gate Park. At this point, I realized, all right, back to, Park Presidio. How do I do this, right? Do I take one of the, paths that I know, whether that be to the left is the Panhandle, which I knew for sure I wasn't doing, or to the right, which was Ocean Beach, which was a real option at the time. And I'm just, my fight or flight is kicking in. I just don't know. I'm just like, what? I just want this to be over. Let's get this through. And so I opted to go through Golden Gate Park at 1:30 in the morning. Probably not my smartest decision looking back, but I thought, what? I don't want any surprises. Up to this point, I've been acting like a ninja. I've been trying to hide. I've been trying to play with the shadows. You know what? No. Right now, I'm turning on my flashlight on my phone. I'm carrying a big stick that I had just found, and I'm singing at the top of my lungs to make sure whatever is out there knows I'm there. If anything, they'll think I'm crazy and don't want to mess with me. But at the very least, they'll, or at the most, they'll stay away from whatever's out there. It was a rocky path and didn't even take one of the main roads like JFK. I went on one of the beaten ones. But I started swinging the stick back and forth just to make sure, whatever's in my path, I hit. And I opted to sing Sweet Caroline for some reason. And so it still makes me laugh. I was singing Sweet Caroline at the top of my lungs, very high pitched, it goes from very high pitched to very flat at certain times. But ultimately it was very beautiful by the time I got through it. Now I was in my neck of the woods, and it was just a short walk home, and I had felt that, the city was beautiful, and it was amazing, and even though I probably didn't make the best decisions leading up to it, that it was over, and I had gone through it, and all I could do now is kind of reflect, laugh it off, and recommend that you don't ever do that again. So, yeah.